Hi, everyone. I wanted to talk to you today about something that's been weighing on my heart. I've been listening to conversations about AI and our changing world, and there's something underneath all the technical talk that I think we're missing. Something about what it means to be human in a world that's moving faster than we can keep up with. I've been thinking about my grandparents' generation, people who lived through real hardship but somehow seemed to have something we've lost. They knew how to be present. They knew how to wait. They understood that some things just take time. And that's not a bug, it's a feature. Let me share what really struck me about this conversation I heard. These experts identified 5 major concerns about AI. But here's what got to me. The third one wasn't about robots taking over. It was about truth, about not being able to tell what's real anymore. Every week I see people in my community getting scammed by videos that look and sound exactly like people they trust. Elderly folks losing their savings to AI-generated voices of their grandchildren calling for help. That's not a technology problem. That's an erosion of the basic trust that holds communities together. But here's what I want to talk about. The solution isn't just about better AI detection software. The solution is remembering how to live in a way that makes us less vulnerable to being swept away by whatever currently is pulling at us. I still write letters, real ones, with a pen, on paper. And you know what? When someone gets a letter from me, they know it's really from me. There's something about the handwriting, the time it took, the physical paper. It carries something that can't be faked. I've been thinking about what one of those speakers said, that it's not normal for your developmental environment to fail to prepare you for an adult environment. For most of human history, children learned skills that would serve them their whole lives. Now we're all scrambling to keep up with the changes that happen weekly, monthly, daily. So I've been experimenting with living differently, not as a rejection of progress, but as a way of staying anchored to what makes us human while everything else spins faster and faster around us. Let me show you what I mean. This morning I made my coffee the slow way. I ground the beans by hand. I used a French press. I sat here for 20 minutes without looking at my phone, just watching the steam rise from my cup and thinking about my day. It sounds simple, but it's revolutionary in 2025 because for 20 minutes I was completely present. No algorithms were competing for my attention. No one was trying to sell me anything or convince me of anything. I was just here. I've started growing some of my own food again, just herbs on the windowsill, nothing fancy. But there's something about putting seeds in soil and waiting for them to grow that connects you to rhythms that have nothing to do with notifications or updates. You can't rush a tomato. You can't hack growth. You can't optimize your way to a deeper connection with the natural world. Some things just take the time they take. I read physical books now. I check them out of the library. Remember those? There's something different about turning pages, about not having the entire internet one click away when you're trying to focus on one author's thought. When I'm reading a real book, I'm not getting notifications. I'm not tempted to fact check every sentence or compare it to what someone else said online. I'm just in conversation with one human mind, following their thoughts wherever they lead. Here's what I think is happening. We're losing our capacity for what I call human pace. Everything is optimized for machines now. Faster processing, instant responses, immediate gratification. But humans aren't machines. We need time to process emotions. We need space between stimulus and response. We need rhythms that match our bodies, not our devices. I'm not saying we should go back to the 1950s. I love that I can video call my niece who lives across the country. I'm grateful for GPS when I'm lost, but I think we can choose which technologies serve our humanity and which ones diminish. So I've been making different choices. I cook from scratch when I can. I walk places instead of driving when it's possible. I call people instead of texting when the conversation matters. I sit on my porch and watch the seasons change. And here's what I've discovered. When you live at human pace, you become less susceptible to being swept away by whatever crisis or trend or outrage is dominating the news cycle. You develop what I think of as a kind of inner stability. I write in this journal every morning, 3 pages, handwritten, just stream of consciousness. No one will ever read it. It's not content. It's not optimized for anything. It's just me thinking through my thoughts and feelings at the pace of handwriting. You know what that does? It helps me know what I actually think, as opposed to what the algorithm thinks I should think. It helps me remember who I am underneath all the noise. I want to challenge you to try something this week. Pick one area of your life where you can slow down. Maybe it's how you eat your breakfast. Maybe it's walking somewhere instead of driving. Maybe it's having one conversation without checking your phone. Notice how it feels different to your body. Notice how your mind responds when it's not being constantly interrupted. Notice what you discover about yourself when you're not moving at machine speed. We're not going to solve the problems with AI and truth and social fragmentation by having better technology. We're going to solve them by remembering how to be fully human in a world that's increasingly optimized for everything else. The future doesn't have to be about choosing between being overwhelmed by change or being left behind. There's a third option, being so grounded in who you are and what matters that you can engage with change from a place of strength rather than reactivity. That's what I'm working on. That's what I'm learning. And I wanted to share it with you because I have a feeling I'm not the only one who's been feeling like we're moving way too fast for our own good. What do you think? What would it look like for you to live at human pace in a machine speed world? I'd love to hear about your experiments in the comments. And if this resonated with you, maybe try writing someone a letter this week, a real one, with a pen. Watch how it feels different than sending a text or an email. Notice what happens when you slow down enough to really think about what you want to say to someone you care about. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. In a world of infinite distractions, the fact that you spent these minutes with me feels like a small miracle. Take care of yourselves and remember, you're under no obligation to move at the speed that world demands. You get to choose your